everyone, and welcome to Legal Limelight. Today's guest is my good friend Lorenzo Litta, who is at Avignon. He's the head of global brands there. He has been a contact and a friend of mine for over a decade, being in trademark land, and I've had the pleasure to watch his career flourish and evolve along the way to become one of the top leaders in the intellectual property space. I am so excited to chat today. And I know a lot of you are, you've been commenting, so let's give it 1 second. I'm going to bring Lorenzo up right now. Let's see, Lorenzo, I just added you. You may have to request. Yep, here we go. Hi, Federica. Hi, Jenny. It's good to see you guys. Thanks for joining. Amanda.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Where in the world is Lorenzo today?
In Rome, actually in my office. So like the most boring place, but also like where all the fun happens.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I know you've been doing a lot of traveling and growing and
Yeah, moving
conquering.
moving a little bit. Like we started small, now we're moving. Like I see a lot of good things also like around you lately. So it's very nice to see.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's wild. You guys have grown so fast. It's just sometimes things happen and you need to service your clients. So we're now a full service IP law firm. It's insane.
That's exciting.
It's exciting. So let me see. When was the last time we actually connected? I saw you in New York. I don't think I saw you at INTA.
No, we didn't meet actually in Atlanta. That's true. I think we met in March last time.
Yes. Well, it's good to actually, see you virtually. We need an update. Please tell everyone Abion rebranded and it's been this big launch a couple months ago. So give us like an update on the firm.
Yeah, I mean, like we've been growing a bit. Like I mean, since the merger between Brandit and Ports, like things have been going quite fast. So that about like 8 months ago, 9 months ago, we rebranded into Appian, and it's been like a very fun project because I put myself in the shoes of a client. Like when you have a big project, like for choosing a new mark, clearing it worldwide, like thinking also like of the global expansion. And like we tried to go with a brand that like would have worked almost everywhere. So that has been like quite funny. And then when was like early June, we merged also with Lane IP, which is a firm like mostly based in the UK, but with offices like in many other countries. So now we consider ourselves like as a global European player.
Great.
Yeah. So it's been fun. It's been fun. Like intensive years.
Intensive years. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your balancing of the business side and the legal side. How have you been managing that?
Well, in terms of time, I would say that like 75% of my days are still like focused like on the work, like really on the legal side, even if like part of that is say managing the team, reviewing drafts, etc. And 25% is most focused like on the business, on the growth, thoughts, like thinking of ideas, packages, ways of working that like could be, let's say, could meet in a better ways the needs of the clients, etc. So it is fun. I must say that business is probably like the part that has been always pushing me to be an attorney, curiously, more than like the legal part. But yeah, I think that like you cannot be an attorney without doing the legal part. So
It's true. It's true. And it's one of the hardest things is you're playing so many different roles. And I think that's why a lot of lawyers don't start their own firms or don't try to grow a firm. It's because it's like, why would I ever want two jobs at once when being a lawyer is hard enough? But have you found it rewarding? Like what's it like to be a part of a startup that's growing so fast?
I think that like that's the most exciting, let's say, part of my career so far because there is nothing that like gives you more fun than like seeing, let's say, your baby's growing, right? And like even in like in the real life with your kids, and the same applies like with that because you see the small wins like daily from like moving from a very small room just in a ground floor, like moving from there, like to like slightly bigger office, like something that you can really call an office, then another office, like having a like just a junior associate next to you, and then like starting to have a team, then adding let's say the first client that tells you, okay, like you can file the mark, and like, oh, the first mark that I'm filing with this new company, and then it's a lot. So I think it's very exciting, and it's also a big emotion. Like it's constantly like a powerful emotion, and it's always a surprise, and that's
It's
possibly like the best part of it.
it's great, and I love your branding, how and what you guys are doing online. How are you leveraging social media to grow the brand?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Like in the first 2 years and a half that when we were branded, like we never pushed like on social media like too much. It was mostly like the attorneys that are a part of the company that were doing like posts and were quite active on social media. Even if like people were thinking that like we were very active, etc. I think it was like individual initiative. We wanted like the world to know about us, what we were doing, etc. And we use social media, LinkedIn in particular, as a good way like to communicate that. Then we also started with Instagram, and it's been a very easy way to communicate. Then, of course, like with the growth, we started like having a more structured group of people that are professionals in the field, and like we have a proper marketing department.
Right.
But they are doing also like nice stuff that like us as lawyers like wouldn't be able like to do, coming with fun ideas and good ways like to promote things, organize events, etc. So it's, I would say, a combination between startup feeling and like more structured company.
And it's just it's a different world. I think yeah. I know that there's still a lot of people who are hesitant about it, but if you look at history repeats itself. So social media isn't going anywhere. We've seen it always start with like young kids and then evolve to adults, and then it evolves to business use. So I think it's the same thing with LinkedIn and some of these more professional platforms, which we're seeing. And I see a lot of your posts. So it's still early, but it's not going anywhere. It's only growing. So it's great that you guys are really leading the charge in this to help pave the way for other lawyers, but also I know I could say it with 100% confidence that the work that you're putting in now, because it's still so early, you're in the minority of people that are using social media, that by the time it becomes, everyone agrees that it's almost going to be too late because it'll be oversaturated, but your brand will have grown significantly. So congrats, and keep doing what you're doing, because it's getting noticed.
Yeah, thank you, Francesca. Like you're very sweet, but I also think that we always forget, that like as attorneys, we are by definition like entrepreneurs, and as entrepreneurs, like each of us is a brand, and like as personal brands, we have like to take care first of our personal brands always. Like this is extremely important, and like the growth of our personal brands goes together with the growth of our products, let's say of our career. So we are like exactly as our clients. Like there is a brand, there are
Correct.
the products, there are the services. If you don't have good products and services, you cannot build a good brand, and vice versa. So it's fun.
I love that you said that, because whether or not it's like a reputation, right? everyone has a reputation. When you meet someone, you make an opinion about them. So even though you may not be aware of it, it is there, and it's the same thing with your personal brand. Who are your clients? Who are you talking to? What kind of person are you attracting? So when we actually stop to think about that, which is what is business 101. You need to know who your client is. You need to know what you're saying. You need to know what your brand is and your position in the market. But if lawyers actually stop to think about it, who am I? What market am I in? What are my offerings? And, who is my ideal client? Then that's where this intentionality comes into play. And it's I think it makes it a lot easier to market yourself and less nerve-wracking, because I know there's a lot of lawyers who may not like the networking piece and may not like the business development piece, but I think once you kind of are really clear about what you're good at, who you work best, who is a best fit for you and what you're about, then you can really go out either in person or on social media and present yourself that way.
Absolutely. And I think that like the personal branding is something that is extremely interesting in our industry, for instance,
Yeah.
because in the end there is space for any kind of brand. There is a market for any kind of product. So like the same applies to us. I mean, someone could be more outgoing, could be let's say more vocal in certain kind of context, like can express their ideas in a way that like everyone, let's say, can receive them, and others like might be like a little bit more reserved. But like they will find other people that are like them and would be like a perfect fit. Like their brand would work in that market. So probably none of us like is the perfect fit for everyone. But like I want to be like the best fit for like the kind of consumers that like are interested in that. Like I'm a big car lover, and like one, I cannot say like because I want to, let's say, put the brand on the spot, but like the CEO of like one of the major groups of like car manufacturers said once, we don't care if people like are saying that our cars are ugly. I just want that our cars are the most beautiful for the people that will buy them.
Love that.
So, because in the end, like you need someone to buy that, not just like to appreciate. So, it's an interesting concept.
No, it's so true. And I think instead of going after, I think the people who do that end up doing the best are the people who are really clear and not trying to please everyone. If you're really clear about because it's like, for example, our firm, we are definitely not the cheapest. So if people come to us and try to compete on price, it's not an apples to orange comparison, but we are not the most expensive. So we're kind of like the BMW. You get great value for the brand, and we're good. So you need to, when you're doing meetings with potential clients too, it helps us because I can tell very quickly if this person doesn't care about the service and they just want the cheapest. We may not be the perfect fit. So
And
I
that
love that you said that.
And I also think that like, you know, being the cheapest, there's always someone that like would be cheaper than you. You will
Uh-huh.
always be able to find that. So I think that like, if you are the most beautiful, there will always be someone that like is more beautiful.
Correct.
So I think it's important like to understand our own strengths, but being even more aware of our weaknesses and
Yes.
like understanding our limits, like trying to find like, oh, this is our space. I'm like, for instance, like an awful dancer, but I love to go clubbing. But I know which is my space there, which is very limited
That's so
because
funny.
I'm not like a good dancer, but I enjoy being there. I enjoy like being there with the people that like are great dancers, and it's good. I feel comfortable even if like I'm not a good dancer, and I stay like in my space.
And you probably are compared again, like comparing to other people. You probably are
Uh,
a great dancer.
no, forget it, forget it.
That's so funny. That's
Um,
hilarious.
Absolutely, like I think that dancing and singing are completely like out of my talents. I think that when the talent for dancing and the talent for singing were distributed, I possibly went to the restaurant.
That's so funny. Yeah, my 2-year-old's walking around now. Anytime my husband like sings, he's like, "No, Daddy, stop singing, stop singing." Which is funny. Speaking of music, we heard the church bells behind you. So
Yeah,
so beautiful.
actually, yeah, actually, like just behind this wall, there is like a church from the 16th century.
Wow.
So that like, I mean, 12 your time, 6 p.m. here, and like actually again at 1 p.m. US, 7 here, like the bells like will disturb like any kind of call that I'm having. So
It's
that's like part
beautiful. I
of
think
the,
it takes us all to where you are and the feeling of being in such a beautiful old city like Rome. So it's a good thing.
yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. And like, again, it's part of the experience. So, and
Oh,
Manhattan possibly would be like a taxi driver that like is screaming or something like that. So,
yeah. No, it's wonderful. It's like New York. It's always super loud. But Lorenzo, thank you so much. Like these go by so quickly. I could chat with you all day. Before we leave, I always ask our guests one question. What advice would you give yourself 10 years ago? I always do it wrong too. What advice would you give your 10-year ago self? If that makes sense.
what would I tell myself?
10 years ago. Yes, that you know now. I got to work on this.
Just do it. Just do it. Don't waste time. I think that everyone has like dreams, big dreams, and the problem is that it's difficult to be bold enough to go after our dreams. But like the problem is that if we don't do that, someone else will live our dreams. So I think it's extremely important when you have a dream and when you believe in yourself, just do it and don't wait. That's probably like the best advice that I can give like to myself. I waited too long to pursue my dreams. So actually, like I had a big dream when I was a kid, which was like to become a Formula One driver. And I mean, it's too late to pursue the dream.
It's
And
never too late, but you can get in a car and
for
go
Formula
fast.
One, it's too late. Formula One is too late. But there are other dreams that like we can keep pursuing. So it's extremely important that like whenever you have it, just go for it.
I love that. And I was talking with some of our interns at lunch yesterday, and I said, some people are going to be the top in your space. Why wouldn't it be you? You're at
Exactly.
the best schools, you work at great firms, you have good contacts, and if you're committed, why wouldn't those top spots be you? So I'm glad, Lorenzo, that you've joined forces with such an amazing company and you've been really putting yourself out there, and it's not easy. I think people see this and sometimes they may not understand how challenging it is to put yourself out there and to build something on top of your work and taking care of your personal life and family. So but really props, and keep leading the way because you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Francesca. It's very nice of you. And like, thank you for like having this chat. It's been fun.
It's good. I'm glad you came on, and it will be recorded. So hopefully people will watch the recording. But thank you again, and thank you everyone. This is Legal Limelight. We're here every Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you next week. Bye,
Bye,
Lorenzo.
everyone.